the splitting of earth so you can choose your experience. Are you going to live in fear? Are you going to, have a hard time on earth? Or do you choose joy and abundance? So the archangels have spoken of this with me as well, where they say there's a lot of corruption within this religion, and so we may start to see some of this. What I have heard is that our current leadership and things that are going to come to light over this next little while is going to create a lot of dismay with people, where they're going to wonder, well, what do we do? Who do we follow? And here is where the archangels have said to not lean upon, other leadership, to stand upon your own 2 feet, to support each other. Thank you, Evelyn, for the opportunity to be on this channel. It's, my privilege to be able to speak to your viewers today. So I'm Michelle Robinson. I'm a certified psychic and medium. I'm also a channel. I'm mostly channel the archangels, and I'm an artist. So yes, regarding dark and light. So I did one of my earlier channelings actually from Archangel Michael. My earlier channelings, when I channeled their words, it actually hurt my body. So the intensity actually decreased, but it also was a very good way of me realizing, well, this isn't my mind making this up. I actually felt the impact of the words in my body, and it was quite overwhelming. So Michael has a very strong presence and he doesn't mince his words. And one of the first channelings, it was around what is in store for mankind over the next few months. And so this was maybe a year ago. So he said, mankind will experience increasing confusion, fear, and riotous activities. My dear, do you not think that we do not see this? We see this knowing that all is always balanced and equal. As is the dark, so too is there an explosion of light, of peace, of tranquility, of joy, of abundance to an equal degree. Choose wisely. Which are you here to experience during your time on earth? So at first I was a little bit shocked, like, oh my gosh, what am I listening to? And then, it unfolded beautifully. And this is what I've also been shown, that we are in a time of increasing division. As there's more light on the planet, so too are people experiencing more light, more awakenings, but also there's, I guess, an increase in the dark to an equal degree because everything is always in balance. And so too are people struggling and finding it very difficult. So the call from the archangels is to make a choice. This is, and I guess you've heard this on your channel before, but the splitting of earth so you can choose your experience. Are you going to live in fear? Are you going to, have a hard time on earth? Or do you choose joy and abundance? And so this is where things that don't resonate with you. So if you choose joy and happiness, then things that are of lower vibrations are no longer going to resonate, and they're literally just going to peel away. So, your experience, if you choose joy and abundance, it's going to be one of joy and abundance. So, and I'm seeing this in my readings as well. I'm seeing some absolutely beautiful, I guess, truths and futures and awakenings for people as their best potential. And everyone has the opportunity for that best potential. And it's been really quite beautiful. Yeah, so some insights into humanity's future. So at the moment, there's a lot of, I guess, light. We all know that the sun is letting off a lot of solar flares at the moment. It's creating an intensity in the energy. And some of this is being absorbed into the earth, and we're seeing this as earth changes. We also know that we're not treating our earth particularly well, and we haven't been. It's the way that we're operating as, I guess, humans, is we're not creating a sustainable future for ourselves on earth. So things have to change. So what I've seen is with this increase of vibration, we have a lot more people waking up. So I call it the Great Awakening. I'm seeing that just in my readings, people who are just on the verge of it, and they're just coming online, and coming online to who we are. So we are all souls, and we've been playing very small. I think we're not aware of who we are and how, I guess the energy that we have, and also the power that we have as individuals. So in the past, we've also looked to governance and leadership and financial institutions, and we've looked at industry, and we think that they're looking out for our best needs, but that's not the case. Even our tap water has chemicals which are low grade, harmful to our bodies. Our governments are not necessarily looking out for the greater good of people, or they're not able to. I think we're seeing that in different leadership that's been happening over this last year. So I'm seeing a lot of leadership change next year. At the beginning of the year, I see monarchy change with King William coming into play. Then I see Trump needing to step down for health reasons. I see that Putin's not very well now, and about by mid-year that he will have a predecessor, and there'll be a large state funeral for him in Russia. I see prior to that him really not being very popular in Russia because of some decisions that he'll make and some hardships that will create. I also see that the Chinese and the UK leadership, there's going to be some things that come to light there as well, which is going to be very hard for them to remain tenable in their positions as well. So yeah, I do see a lot of leadership change, and what I hear is this is going to be leadership change for the better. Regarding changes with the earth, so these are some things that I guess are happening anyway, that we're already seeing, like volcanoes. I think middle of the year I saw there would be volcanic activity in Hawaii, and then in maybe October, beginning of November, I saw we would have Japan, Java. So those have already occurred. We're already starting to see it, particularly from around October this year. From that point, we're going to see more environmental things happening. And it's just a matter of staying in our peace and very grounded and staying connected to Earth, and not rejecting nature because of this. And this is how we can kind of keep within our peace while some of these rumblings go on. It can be quite disconcerting, and we're just not to get caught up in fear and start following, oh, there's an earthquake here and then this disaster there and a landslide here, because there are things that are going to happen with the earth. It's just, part of this shift and part of this change and part of this intense energy that we're experiencing. It's an interesting one because it's upheld a lot of people, but within very rigid confines. I actually tried to be involved in organized religion when I was younger, but I couldn't, it just wasn't right. It didn't feel right. So yeah, I think it can be very hard to be attached to everything that's beautiful about religion without sometimes being attached to some rigidity and some judgment and some things like that. But what I do see with organized religion, particularly I'm seeing this with what I've been told or shown around the Catholic religion, is that this time period is it's already started, but particularly goes through into next year, which is a time of things like lifting of the illusion of things that are not being seen currently coming to light. And some of that also involves like the Catholic religion. So the archangels have spoken of this with me as well, where they say there's a lot of corruption within this religion, and so we may start to see some of this. What I have heard is that our current leadership and things that are going to come to light over this next little while is going to create a lot of dismay with people, where they're going to wonder, well, what do we do? Who do we follow? And here is where the archangels have said to not lean upon, other leadership, to stand upon your own 2 feet, to support each other. So we're very to create communities that we have a lot of our way forward is taking a step back to some ways of old, not being so individualistic for our own, working for our own individual needs, but working together as teams of people, supporting each other, volunteering where it's needed. And all of these things are going to help kind of with like a beautiful thing come through, which is going to help connect us to a greater good, where we've been disconnected and we're just trying to battle along by ourselves. So there's something which is coming through in community, and then with our individual our individual, I guess, connection with likes of the archangels, our guides, other energies, where we're able to have this beautiful sense of connection and peace and joy, and a sense of it's going to help us not get so caught up in everyday things. There's something bigger than us. And I do feel like some of the breakdown or some of the awarenesses around organized religion and people wondering, well, where do we go? Who do we turn to? Is going to really help us, empower us all individually into our own truths, our own awarenesses. So it's interesting you ask, why the chaotic time? So what the archangels have also said, that mankind is always just on the wheel, doing the same thing, behaving the same way. And they have said, why is it that you only come or reach to us or awaken when times are troubled? And this is what has been seen in the past before. They are much more eloquent than me, and I do have these channelings up on my webpage if anyone cares to see them. But basically, troubled times creates change. When we're all very comfortable, we decide everything's fine. You know, I'm going to carry on the way things are, even if we're not working in a way that's sustainable with the earth, or if we're not growing. It seems that we are also working very much as individuals instead of as groups of people working together for individual materialistic needs. If we look back to our ancestors, I mean, we've had everything, we've had plenty, but we've become soulless in the process. So this is a way, this chaos, this change, this breaking down, is actually a way of crumbling structures and systems and ways of being that are really not serving us any longer. You know, it's not working. My children and my children's children, are they going to be able to purchase a home? You know, probably not in Australia. So this has to change. We need to come together and work together as groups. We need to stop, I guess, striving for individual outcomes. So these earth changes are also going to create us coming together. So we need to look to the way people have lived before. Like they say, the archangels say, to look to our ancestors. And this is how we will get through these times as well. But this chaos is necessary, otherwise we're not going to change. We're not going to look at the foods that we're eating, the ways that we're living our lives. You know, I just did a channeling the other day, and it was for YouTube, and it was literally the whole of the YouTube was covering where chemicals and toxins and industry is not serving us as individuals, or it's not serving us in our food and environmental requirements. So we are actually being slowly poisoned by the environment around us. So this is in our drinking water, in our food, the toxins, the sprays, that kind of thing. And it's, yes, we might have it's having the awareness and then speaking up as a group of people. Well, this is enough. You know, we need to be able to have clean food and water at very least. So creating change. And yeah, unless we work together as a people and stop looking to our governments and industry and religions, organized religions, then we're not realizing our power as individuals and community groups to say, look, is this serving us? Is this serving our planet? At the end of the day, we need to be looking to the home that we live on for our longevity as well, and working with that in harmony. See if I can give them any messages. So I'll just give me a moment to tune in, okay? Because I came straight from a reading, so I'm not prepared, okay?
Yes.
This is an exciting time, I'm hearing. This is a time where we should be all rejoicing. We essentially have been living like we've had a blindfold on. We have not had awarenesses of who we are and the greater good and energies that are available to us. So it's as though we've been sleepwalking through our lives. It's like we've been on a hamster wheel and we're not connected to our joy. We have started to think that our joy lies in our materialistic, like our acquisitions and our materialism and the things that we have. But actually, we've become a slave to those things. And we've become a slave to that way of life. Things have had to give and had to break down to set us free. It's just that we're clinging on, thinking that what we had was the better way to be, a better way to live, and that's not the case at all. This is a time of enlightenment, of betterment, of improvement. I love this one, of happy ever afters. They say this, of happy ever afters. You will see things will open up beautifully like the unfolding of a flower. Go with this time. There are many energies available to support you at this time, should you call them in and commune with them. Christ consciousness being one of them. Jesus and the angelics are energies that are available to all, very accessible, especially during this time, more so than ever before. Go with these times, they will lead you to better healing practices, better farming practices, better fishing practices, better community outcomes. Some things that are seemingly out of reach, we can no longer afford materials for buildings of a new home. This is great. Other remedies need to be sought. These remedies, again, will create improvement. Going with these times, not suffering them, is the way forward. Our children are suffering. This is giving our children a better future, cared for by family groups. They are disconnected from the land, from energies around them, life being too busy, parents unable to meet their needs, foods not set to support them. There will be more equality for all through this breakdown. This will not leave anybody untouched. This will be a good thing. They are saying that they'll take their leave of me now. So that's all.